Welcome to another episode of ClockTower, a D&D 5th edition experience. For those familiar with 5th edition, please keep in mind that all of our players are playing different subclasses of a custom class in a unique setting. We also play with a lot of house rules that we as a group collectively enjoy. If you're just joining us, we explain our house rules as they come up in previous episodes, so if anything is too confusing, or you hear a rule you just don't understand, you may need to start from the beginning. With that said, welcome to the ClockTower. We see before us the vast expanse of space, stretching into unfathomable distance, dotted with the light of stars and planets. Cloud-like structures boom with light in strange shapes far away. Untamed and unknown, it is, in its entirety, as beautiful as it is terrifying. Orbiting a small planet is an enormous disc-shaped space station. We see as it moves through our vision, proudly printed on the side of its hull, the name Station LL02. And within this space, we see those who live their entire lives here, and 4 visitors. All of you stand in this rounded hallway, the red light and alarm signaling that something is very much wrong here. However, the question remains, what are you doing here? What do you do?
I'm going to walk forward.
Okay.
And make sure that people are following me.
As you, almost hesitantly look around to your friends, and I suppose they're friends, at least the people you're working with, and you move forward, you see printed in white letters on the sort of off-white sides of the paneling of this hallway. One of the reasons you didn't see it before are the words housing units, and they have a arrow for direction. And you see there are on the floor in the grating small lights that light up in a sequence, directing you down the hallway in the direction that you're currently headed.
Question. Exactly what do you think the point? I don't see a monster here. It's not yet.
This is kind of confusing. How do you fit a monster on this tiny thing?
I don't think we should just be walking around, but maybe you should hold up.
That same alarm you heard last time repeats itself again. Warning, there is a hostage situation on the main deck. Please allow security officers to work unimpeded as they correct this situation. Return to your housing unit in an orderly fashion.
All right, maybe that's our cue?
To go into a housing unit?
No, what? No. Hostage situation. It's probably a monster.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, I think they definitely just got some new security.
So we should probably be on the lookout then.
Let's go.
Should that be us? All right.
What else do we have left to do? There's nothing else we can do here.
Well, a lot of stuff, actually, but okay.
Literally nothing. Let's go.
Wait. Let's hear the man out.
Well, I mean, think about it. We're just dropped in this random place. They obviously have a lockdown going on. Maybe we should ask people things.
A man in a white outfit seems to be coming from behind you, past where you're going, as he sort of quickly, not necessarily shouldering past you. The hallway is cramped, but big enough that all 4 of you can kind of be having a discussion, and the man has a little bit of room to squeeze between you as he says, "Excuse me, sorry, 1 second." He looks at you guys as if he, for a second, doesn't recognize you, and then something about the way he's looking at you in his eyes, there's recognition, and he sort of passes by as if anything that might be strange or out of place about you guys being here, immediately his mind seems to tell him, yeah, they should be here, and then he moves on.
Reagan. He nods toward the passerby.
Questions?
Hey, you.
The dude, is pretty, by the time you guys actually yell, "Hey, you," the dude's kind of far away, and he looks over and goes, yeah, I'm sorry?
I jog over to catch up with him. Excuse me, sorry to stop you. Did you get any word about what's actually happening with this whole hostage thing? Is there some sort of, is it still going on? Well, besides the alarm, but...
Oh, I I don't know. I was in the labor deck, and I was told to return to the housing unit. So I'm just going back to my housing unit. I don't know.
Sam's gonna walk up kind of slowly. Hey, my name's Sam. Sorry.
Oh, hey.
I know this is kind of an
Duncan.
awkward
It's
situation.
nice to meet you.
Yeah.
You guys are engineers, right?
Yeah, engineers.
Exactly.
Have you heard anything? I'm sorry. I know you're just trying to get to some place, but
No, I was just telling your friend. I mean, I know engineers fix things, but I don't. This isn't the type of thing you fix, right?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to get in trouble.
I hear you, man. Keep your head down, okay?
And he starts heading back.
Okay, that didn't really do much.
At least we know we're engineers.
Yeah,
True.
yeah, cool.
And at the end of the tunnel, as that man makes his way to the end of the tunnel, you see that there is a door that sort of is two parts and slides open with a large sort of scraping noise. And then there's a very bright light on the end of that tunnel that like almost blinds you guys all from this dim hallway. But you can't really see what it is before the door is with a resounding clang shut again.
What the hell was that?
That might be where we need to go.
Sure, let's go engineer some shit. Why not?
All right.
Hey, Reagan. Do you want to catch up real quick?
Yeah. Walk towards them.
As you guys walk, you hear your footsteps clanging on the metal grates and have to avoid a few, like, almost vine-like bundles of cables hanging down as you sort of brush them aside. And when you finally get to the end of this tunnel, you see the door opens up, and before you is a very large, almost dome-shaped... Well, I almost want to say, like, a town square. Like, you see almost a town built up and along the sides of this dome. There are, like, a big grassy lawn kind of area separated into several quadrants. And there's a big round booth at the center of this quadrant. And there's a sign that is made out of light itself, almost like a hologram, that is spinning, and above it it says information. All around the other parts of this, you see there are several other doors like the one you just stepped out of. In fact, there seems to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16 of them in total, all leading around this sort of circle. And you see there are a lot of things here. There are these squares that seem to be floating around, and there are people that have these boots that seem to levitate them up almost and allow them to work on these squares, and they seem like farming units. And there's a lot of other, like, just sort of... The place gives you the vibe that it's very much like the communal... like meeting area ground place. It's where the school is, kind of a thing. It's where the community, it's like the heart of the community, literally. It doesn't look like there's a lot of like processing jobs or anything. The small squares seem to be like some sort of small like volunteer run garden, and everything's very bright, as if it's some sort of artificial sunlight here. And there are these sort of clouds that look like they're almost digitally overlaid onto the ceiling, passing through. And that red light isn't really flashing here anymore. There are just these little, when you enter, there's a little square of light that pops up, and right next to you, it reads, "Do not worry. Security officers will have any negative situation handled within a matter of moments. Please enjoy your housing unit for the time being."
Yeah, it seems like our destination is not the housing unit.
I mean, but would you look at this place and just wow?
I mean, yeah, it's a place.
But we're certainly not going to be helping here.
No, it does not
This
feel
is
like it.
definitely going to be more of a like hangout spot than anything else. still think the hostage situation sounds like a good idea.
Do we want to go to the information booth and see if we can get a better map out of this?
We can try to find either someone to tell us where the hostage situation is or a map of the place, which would be helpful as well.
I mean, we are new. I think.
Maybe.
You would think if this is a small area, they would know who's here. You know what I mean? After a while, you know your coworkers.
But it also seems like at least one of us, just kind of accepted who we were.
Yeah, that was weird. All right.
We should go to the information desk.
Yeah, let's do that.
As all of you go to the information desk and walk up, it is a rather large structure. However, the majority of the windows seem closed right now, as if it's not very busy, and they only are going to bother to staff a single window in the information booth because there isn't much going on necessary for people to... You have a feeling like they're maybe on like a big day when there might be a lot of people coming into the station, there might be all the windows of this booth opened up, but right now, especially with whatever crisis is going on, there is almost nothing. And you see this person in the same kind of white, high-colored, straight cut outfit that the person you saw previously was wearing, and you do see people all around this area. It is very populated, and nobody seems to take note of you guys being out of place, but the person at this information desk is sort of sitting back, leaning in like a swivel chair almost, with their feet kicked up onto the desk, and they have some sort of book opened up that they seem to be reading. And they don't seem to take notice of you, and their white outfit, unlike the other ones, is lined with this, like, almost navy blue pattern that seems to designate them as a different, like, worker or section than the person you saw previously. And it is fitting because it seems to match their hair, which is blue and hangs down in front of their face. And their eyes are also a pale blue that seems to look at you as they like look at you side glance for a second as if like, oh, people. And then they almost fall out of their chair as they like realize like, oh, I'm doing a job right now. And they come up and they go, hi, how can I help you? And you see a name badge that just says, Lawrence Orwell.
Hi, Lawrence.
Hi.
We're looking for a map of the whole ship.
Oh, yeah. And they like press a few buttons, and a small like tablet comes out that is pretty much completely lit up with light, and he goes, here. And they hand you a map of the entire station. And you can see that at the center of the map there is the living quarters. There are neighborhood domes that act as small communities in and of themselves, labeled A through H, going in a clockwise circle around the living quarter itself. Above the living quarter, at where 12 would be on a clock, is the engine deck. And going in a clockwise formation from that, there's the research deck, a long sort of C circle of the market deck, the hangar deck, which is right off to the side of the market deck, and a lock deck, which seems to be the only way into the main deck. On the other side, there is the upper deck, the labor deck, the security deck, and a lock deck as well. And as they hand you the map and you all look at this person, Reagan, you have a strange feeling about this person for some reason. And at first you're not sure what it is, but then you feel something almost like burning a hole in your pocket, like when you have almost forgotten something, but you remember it offhandedly, and you're like, oh, I was supposed to give you something, kind of a feeling. But you're not sure what that is or why this person would make you think anything like that. But you definitely feel something in your pocket.
I'm gonna reach into my pocket and see what...
As you reach into your pocket, you see a small gold coin. I believe you're pocket watch is gold, right? Yeah. You see a small gold coin with a watch face on it that, again, has no numbers, but the hands are going straight up and straight down. And on the other side of the coin, there seems to be the sort of embossed picture of an owl. The owl doesn't look like a barn owl either. It's a little bit more spiky depicted, and it looks very angry. However, as you turn this coin in your hand, looking at it, you realize that it is not without cost. You can spend this coin by giving away one of your ClockTower dice uses for this mission to gain information from this person about what your mission is and what you're supposed to do.
Oh.
Do you want us to like? You want to do it? You not want to do it?
I don't know.
It's a ClockTower dice.
ClockTower dice.
Yeah, it's worrisome.
For those of you who don't know, one of the main uses of a ClockTower dice for the ClockTower class is that you can roll your ClockTower dice at level 1, it is a d4, and you can add it to your roll or any creature you can see that can hear you or you can otherwise interact with this roll as a plus or a minus to that roll. Especially considering we have the escalation system, you can add up to whatever number you want, thus making a roll against you that might have been a critical hit, not a critical hit, a roll that you made, not a critical failure, or a roll that was very close, an escalation, giving you the opportunity to change fate in your favor if the dice gods are so inclined. However, ClockTower agents only have a number of these dice equal to their intelligence modifier. They do reset on a long rest, however, the odds of them being able to take a long rest on a mission are very slim. So use your resources wisely.
It's up to you whether or not you want to use it.
I say information's always good, but that's just me.
I agree. And does anybody have any idea of what we're doing here? Other than the hostage situation.
I feel like that's our best bet right now.
Alright. I'm gonna hand Lawrence the coin.
Lawrence seems really confused when you hold the coin out to him, but something on his face seems to think that he thinks it's like some kind of a tip. And he goes, "Oh, thanks." And he takes the coin, and as soon as the coin leaves your hand and is in his hand, there is like a switch is flipped. Their entire expression goes from being a sort of bored 9-to-5 worker to being intimidating and omnipotently knowing, and their eyes seem to shine like starlight for a moment, and their entire demeanor changes as they go, "Oh, you're new. What the fuck do you want?"
Why, hello. Is your name still Lawrence?
In some places, yes. Is that your question? Because that is a waste of a coin.
No. Okay. So we want information on whatever mission we were sent here for.
I'm fucking sure you do. You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific than that.
There's a hostage situation on board.
Yeah. Did you get that on your own, or was it from the massive alarm blaring it out across the station for you? That's kind of a dead giveaway. Is that your coin question? Because I don't know if you know this, but I don't need you to give me information. You need me to give you information.
That wasn't a question. That was him making a statement.
Look, smartass. I'll take this coin and fuck off. And then you can fuck off and not do anything.
All right, well, please don't do that.
Quick out of character thing. Should we ask where the hostage situation is?
That is absolutely what I was thinking.
Okay.
So.
Or
Should we ask, does the hostage situation involve us at all? If it doesn't,
Hey,
I have a
out of character
hint
thing, I'm
that
gonna,
it does.
I'm going to read this for you because it's been repeating in the background of this entire thing the entire time. Warning, there is a hostage situation on the main deck. Please allow security officers to work unimpeded to correct this situation. Return to your housing unit in an orderly fashion.
glad it wasn't just me this time.
no. That's why I said, does it involve us at all? I didn't say.
I'm gonna go with it involves us. Also, it's on the main deck.
We can also ask what's causing the hostage situation.
Oh, that is so much better. See, Cal should just be doing that. All right.
They look at you with hate-filled eyes.
Sorry, you seem kind of busy with this, but,
Yes, I'm so busy. I love entertaining ClockTower agents' questions day in and day out. Ask whatever your fucking question is, you petulant children.
alright, what is causing the hostage situation on the main deck?
They roll their eyes and move their hand up and down in some sort of obscene gesture as they lean back and then take a deep sigh as they roll forward and say, to answer your question, the thing causing the hostage situation is the person you are here to collect their weaponry.
What? Wait.
Wait, more importantly, you know who you are.
Yes, I know. I fucking course I know who you are.
I thought we killed monsters.
Yeah, we just killed a monster last time. There's more to this?
Oh my god. You're so young. Anyway, I answered your question. If you want more information, you'll have to give me another coin. And they hold their hand out.
Wait. We're not fighting a monster this time. So, like...
We're not. Apparently, we're fighting someone for their weapons.
Just collecting.
Well, they didn't say fight.
Just said collect.
They just said collect.
I'm more of a talking person, personally.
Can we talk to you?
Last time I tried to fight, I got eaten.
You did.
So I would really like to talk something out this time.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you were saying over them discussing something. Did you have a question?
Can we talk to you at any point?
Me?
Yeah.
As long as you can
As long
find
as-
me.
So there's no guarantee that you'll be here if we have more questions?
Well, Lawrence will be here probably.
I'm gonna take out my watch and see how much time we've wasted.
You look at your watch, and you see that the time that was at 3:30 when you started has now ticked away to 3 o'clock.
How much time we got, Reagan?
Oh.
Spend a half hour.
It's been fun. We're gonna go.
For your guys' information, for how we're going to handle this rather than timing out of character, in character, in character, out of character, the way we're going to handle this is that each 30 minutes is about an action that you can take on the space station. Going to a location, doing a thing, moving to another thing, doing a combat. They'll all be around an action. So, with that said, you have 6 actions left. Coming here to this area was one of them. You will not continue to burn more actions by talking to Lawrence for a little bit longer, but if you move from this location or go do something else, that will cost an action.
I just out of character. I personally think we should head to the main deck. I think we've
what I was
gotten
gonna
everything we need out of Lawrence right now, and we should save our ClockTower days.
Let's go. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. We should head to the main deck because that's what's been yelling at us for the past 30 minutes.
I would say let's go to the main deck, except seeing our map, it's a circle, so I think that we should split up into twos and go around.
I am not a fan of splitting the party.
I feel as though we've heard a song about that once.
Maybe. Yeah, let's not do that.
Okay, well, we have to get in through one of the lock decks, and since there's 2 lock decks, I think we should find a way to get into both of them.
Perhaps we can go to the labor deck, seeing how it kind of splits off. That person was headed there anyways. Maybe we can catch up with them and see if we can find a way into the lock deck. Maybe he's passed by security and swipe a badge.
Also, aren't we engineers? Can't we just go through the pipes or whatever? Ventilation or something like that?
Well, I might be small, but I'm not that small.
I'm saying we're engineers. It's kind of our job.
Whatever we need to do, we should choose it quickly. We're running out of time.
Okay.
As you guys are all kind of talking in front of Lawrence about what you're going to be doing next and where you're going to be going, Lawrence kind of shakes her head and looks around and goes, I'm sorry, I spaced out for a second. Did you need anything else?
No, thank you, Lawrence.
All right. Have a good day.
Bye.
Hi.
Nice hair.
Thanks.
All right.
Okay, we need to find out where we're going.
I think we're heading to the labor deck, aren't we?
Yeah.
Why not Labor Deck?
Yeah.
Let's go.
As you guys make your way through the labor deck, you go down those same sort of cramped hallways that go for a very long time. It seems that in the hallways there's a lot of different little alcoves and turnoffs that you can actually go into, but none of them really seem to lead anywhere. They seem more like maintenance, like places to check on different lines and electrical work and things like that. And when you get to the labor deck, you see that it is massive. The sea circle sort of shape on that map that is the labor deck, imagine it like an entire city bent around that whole shape there, basically. And you see that it is very obviously where the factory is, where the processing happens, where the farming happens. It is where people go to work on things to help the station survive. There are untold amounts of buildings here that are all serving different purposes and are all sort of built into the side of the station, and they kind of go up the walls in that same sort of multi-tiered fashion that was in the living quarters, so that they're using the vertical space a lot to their advantage. You can see people driving these sort of like hover carts that go from places, like golf carts. Imagine those, but they're driving different hover carts that are towing like carts of different things here and there and going from different places. And you guys all seem to be standing on like what is basically like a narrow bridge or walkway that you can see many other walkways going down and other walkways going up into the different levels of the labor deck. And on the very bottom of the labor deck, you can see what looks like molten hot metal in some sort of smelting factory being poured from giant like crucibles into forms. And it seems that like all of the forging work is done in the very, very bottom, which illuminates the entire place in a sort of orange glow from the bottom up. And as you go up, you can see that sort of artificial sunlight where it seems like more of the farming stuff happens above.
So, maybe we won't be finding our friend.
This is big. I don't like it. Well, look at my pocket watch, just real quick glance.
At this point, it's probably going down from like 3 to 2, somewhere in there, but it hasn't been like a full action as far as game is considered.
There's a lot. So overwhelming. Where do we go?
We wanted to make it to the security deck, right?
Yeah, sure.
Right. Well, I'm kind of fairly used to a city, so maybe I'll take the lead and see if we can talk to some people on the street, find our way, since we're not entirely used to this position.
Rock will step out of the way and go, by all means.
Follow me.
All right, Sam. You've never been here before. However, all of you feel like you know what is basically a basic knowledge of the world that you're in. What are you going to do to find your way?
I would like to use an investigation check to kind of figure out, or maybe even a history check, to figure out kind of how this city's sort of laid out, maybe take some side streets,
Okay.
talk to a few people.
Roll.
What?
Investigation check.
All right.
Works for me. There are a lot of people around. You can try and find your way through.
Ooh, that's only an 8.
Ooh. It takes you a full action before you find your way to the security deck, leaving you at about an action and a half down, because it wasn't a full action to get here in the first place, but it definitely was a full action to find your way through. So by the time you get to the security doors, you see that they are, when you actually can find them, big doors, like 15 feet by 15 feet wide doors that meet in the middle. And they have security deck in big letters printed across the side of them. And like, even though like it seems kind of comical as you're all small standing in front of these large doors that say security deck, how long it took you to find them. But that is how big the labor deck is that there are several things in front of these doors, and it's the only entrance into the security deck that isn't from the lock deck or the upper deck.
I knew I should have taken that second side street. Well, we're here now, at least.
Yeah, we got here. That's all that matters. I guess we just walk in.
Sure. Want to take the lead on this one, Reagan? You do seem to be a bit more, talky.
Sure, let's go.
As you, like, I can almost see Reagan, like, rolling his head back and like, oh, okay, sure, let's go, as it pushes past Sam and walks up to the security deck, and the security deck doors open with that same sort of loud scraping sound as they move past them, and inside you see what is, I imagine it kind of like a modern-day mall, almost, as you enter. Because you enter and you're standing on what is basically a large balcony when you first go into the security deck, and there are walkways that go from the balcony on either side, and you see a lower deck beneath you that also like has a lot of different seating areas and people going from here to there, and it is big enough on the lower deck, not on the upper section or the store, not on the upper section that you guys now stand on. But there are a lot of people walking around, and there are small alcoves that go down that seem to have, like, not just, like, security, but you can tell this might be where the bank is, might be where there are lawyers, and where a lot of, like, business and government and things that would require a high amount of security, because there are armed guards all along this place, and they are all wearing head-to-toe armor and have very large guns in their hands.
Question, we are armed as well, right?
Yep. Nobody has taken note of your weapons. Even though your weapon is a giant pizza cutter sword, nobody has taken note of it at all.
So as soon as I walk into this place and notice that no armed guard is looking at my big pizza cutter.
Right. Imagine walking strapped into a bank, and the bank guards just didn't seem to notice or care.
All right.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is even worse than that. They do notice you. They just notice you and then don't take any sort of, like, it's almost like they notice you and then nod as if you're supposed to be there and keep looking.
Yeah, guys, I think we have some form of filter. Because, I have a very large sword, and we are in a very armed building, and nothing is happening.
Yeah.
So, it might be useful for the future, I guess. It's useful now.
Jaeger looks down at his gun that he's been holding in his hands the entire time. Yeah, no, I totally agree. That's probably what's going on. Yeah.
I mean, I just have a pipe. Sam looks down and this pipe has become kind of a silver wrench with runes, or a wrench. I guess that makes sense. He puts it back.
Wait,
Did...
what? Jaeger looks down at his what used to be a crossbow, what was a gun, and is now a plasma cutter? Caster? Something of that nature.
Wait a minute. If his is a pipe and now it's a wrench, and yours is now a whatever that is, what is my... And Rock looks back, and instead of the like half blade, more medieval style double sword, it's a big two-handed buster sword with a blue line going down the middle that seems to be pulsating.
Hey, Reagan, can you roll a perception check for me?
Absolutely. That's a 14.
Is that with your perception added?
It's a 13.
Oh no. 13 is still not bad. As they're all talking about their weapons and looking at them and sort of like literally pulling a giant buster sword off of his back, Rock is like looking at it like, huh, that's weird. And Jaeger is looking at this like sort of more new age tech rifle that he has in his hand. The guards are now looking at you guys.
Way to act natural.
What do you mean?
One of them is approaching you.
Yeah, Jaeger takes his gun and puts it away like as if nothing ever happened. Waves to the officer. Hey.
Hello, officer.
He's got sort of a metallic tinge to his voice, as if it's being actually like broadcasted out of his helmet. And he goes,
"You all lost, looking for something?"
Yeah, we're real sorry. My name's Sam. We're from engineering. We're just trying to. We hear there's something going on the main deck. We trying to see if we can help at all, fix electrical, maybe get doors unlocked.
Oh.
As he goes,
It's engineering equipment, Paul.
as one of the other guards shrugs as if they were concerned about something and now they're no longer as concerned.
Copy.
Sam pulls out his wrench and kind of shakes in his hand. Sorry, puts it back.
Yeah, just be careful. I mean, some of that stuff looks kind of like weapons, so...
Just used to help with the electrical stuff. And I look at Jaeger. I'm just go. But yeah, is there any way you can direct us to get some work done?
Let me contact my superiors and see if there's any... I haven't heard anything about any doors that need to be worked on, but I'll go check.
We appreciate it.
What exactly did you say you're here to fix? You said something about doors, right?
Yeah, the hostage situation with the main doors, right? I hear there's been locked out.
Oh, I'll go check.
All right, thank you.
They go stand over and they seem to be talking amongst each other. And then the guy comes back and he goes,
Yeah, I radioed my superior, but they didn't seem to... The lockdown, they have access to it. They're the only ones who have access to it is the, captain level security team. No one else is going to be getting into the main deck right now until that hostage situation is resolved. However, as far as the electrical work on keeping it locked out, it's working perfectly.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, maybe it was another door or something. I mean, you all seem like you're here for something. Who's your superior?
Simmons.
roll a deception check for me, please.
19.
Guardman, with a +5, got a 9.
I also have +5, so hey, it works out.
As he goes,
Oh. I've worked with Simmons before. He's really nice.
Good guy, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, if you're working for Simmons, I'm sure. What? It's not the main doors. Maybe it's the. No, I've got no idea. I'm sorry. I wish I could help you more. I could call Simmons.
No, that's all right. We must have just heard wrong.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's probably fine. We'll find it. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you, man.
Can you? Sorry, I don't mean to impose. You always have a job to do, but can you get us on the lock deck at all? I know it does connect, right? I don't spend much time on the main deck, usually in the engines.
Why would you need to go to the lock deck?
Well, I thought we were checking the doors.
he got a 1.
So we vibing on this man's stupidity.
Yeah, we really are.
14, it's not that bad. He goes,
Oh, well, right. I guess checking the doors on the lock deck. Yeah, I could probably get you onto the lock deck, I guess.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. What'd you say your name was?
Ronald.
Ronald. Pleasure to meet you. I'll put in a good word for Simmons.
Thanks.
What
You
a
can call
fine
me
name.
Ron, though.
Ron, it's a pleasure.
Thanks.
See you later.
and he walks you. Well, see you later, aren't you?
You're walking with him.
Isn't he taking you to the lock deck right now?
Jaeger, come
No,
back.
I was talking to his coworker.
Oh, to Paul.
Yeah.
Bye.
So he walks with you guys and takes you through the security deck to this sub deck that has an airlock between it, and there are 4 armed guards hanging out in the airlock. And then, when you go through that airlock, you are into the subdeck. In the subdeck, it is a pretty good-sized building that has a, like, armored glass, sort of, like, control area where they seem like they control the doors to the main deck from here, or to the lock deck from here. Like, they let people into the lock deck and out of the lock deck from here. And there are these 8-foot tall, 5-foot wide, what look like armored beings that have big cylinders at the end of each of their arms, and just a single bar of light that seems to be scanning around, and there's one of these things in every corner. And Ron walks up to the window and, like, knocks on it as he goes,
hey, I've got some engineers here. They're here to check the doors in the lockdown unit.
as the woman behind the counter goes, what? And he goes,
Yeah, they're here to get into the lockdown and check all the doors, just make sure that they work and that they're operating as they should be.
he goes, what? You realize how suspicious that sounds, right? Like, that's just not me. That, like, Ron, I mean, he goes,
Well, I mean, wouldn't this be the worst time for the doors to fail?
she goes,
Ron's my boy.
Ron's my boy.
I don't hate Ron.
Come on, Ron.
she goes, well, yeah. I mean, it would be the worst time for the doors to fail, but that, and he, like, looks at all of you guys, and he goes,
They brought their own equipment.
We're just here to check, ma'am.
Yep, just doing a job.
all right. And Ron goes,
Here.
and he hands her his badge, and she scans it, and the light goes ding, and he goes,
Yeah, I'll stick with them. I'll make sure that, they're escorted. It's better than the security deck promenade duty, I can tell you that.
and she goes, yeah, all right, I mean, quick in and out, check the doors and leave. He goes,
Yeah, of course.
and the airlock doors, similar to the ones you just came through, ahead of you, open. And Ron goes,
All right, let's go.
All right, let's go get work done.
Yep.
After you, man.
Quick little looky look, and then we'll be right back up.
Absolutely.
As we're walking, Sam is going to kind of fake a cough into his right arm and kind of flick his fingers towards Reagan and cast message.
okay.
So Reagan, what you hear, it's kind of like whispered into your head is, so what do you want to do? I can only get us so far in this. Oh, and you can reply to this. It'll sound whispered. No one else will hear.
I mean, my first thought is to take out Ron.
That was my first thought. just
Can't kill Ron, guys.
I'm not saying kill him. I am saying choke him out.
As the NPCs were talking, I looked at Trent and just did a stabbing motion.
No,
We gotta kill Ron.
not Ron.
I love Ron.
Just knock him out. It's fine.
Yeah, just knock him out. We just gotta knock him out.
Yeah, but what if he wakes up?
Do it again.
Where do we put Ron?
And
If we knock Ron out, where do we put Ron?
a dumpster where everyone puts the knocky outies.
What? Where do you
Okay,
come from?
so-
That's where you put people.
Are there
What?
other people on like
just
in
murder
this
people. Where I come
room?
from?
So many.
Okay, well that's
In the airlock between the security deck and the lock deck, there are like a normal 2-door airlock where there's nothing, and then there's an entire deck that is armed with people that seems to be like a security lock that you go through to another airlock that then leads to the lock deck, which you guys are now following Ron into. The lock deck, when you're there, appears to be a sort of there's not a lot going on in this deck specifically. It seems like there are several guards here watching what happens, but it also seems like this is where members of the crew that are working on the main deck can go to get some food, can go to get, like, to relax and take a break for a second. It's kind of like the break room, but imagine an entire deck. It's a small section of what you might be able to find elsewhere in the living quarter without actually having to leave and go to the rest of the station. And obviously everybody in here has badges and things like that. And you can see across the main, like, sort of walkway, because there are, like, stairs leading down and, like, elevators that lead down to the many different levels of the lock deck. But for the most part, the lock deck is just a locked deck for private personnel only. And from the map that you guys have seen, there are 2 lock decks, meaning anybody who works on the ship on the main deck, which is where the majority of, like, making sure that the space station stays afloat happens, is there. It's also the most locked down place because it controls all of the automated armor, weaponry, and sentries, as you guys saw in that airlock or in that security lock, that are on the station.
I'm gonna send a message back and see if we can create some sort of like smoke diversion to say that one wire has tripped or something.
Sam can do minor illusion.
Exactly. On the door, and we would be like, everybody get out. So, hey, can you do that?
Sam's gonna kind of give you a look and kind of empty their pockets and do a shrugging motion and go, kind of like I'll see what I can do.
So, you guys come to the lock deck and you see that it's basically an entire city worth of a break room. Are you gonna just, like, check the nearest door to you? Ron kind of looks at you guys and goes,
So, do you want to start with this door that we just came through? I mean, it seems to be working fine, or do we want to go to the lock deck, labor deck connecting doors, or do you want to go to the lock deck security door?
It's probably smart to start here and then work our way down. That
yeah,
way, make sure we
Jaeger. How
check everything
about
over.
you take
I'll take
Brock,
here.
and then you can start on this end. We'll start on that end. Just make
start here.
a little clock. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Quick little clock work.
Yeah.
Cool. All right,
Absolutely.
let's
Let's
get to
start.
work.
All right.
So, Reagan, we're gonna go over to where the lock door meets the kind of holy self of the main door, or main deck.
Perfect.
Cool.
I think that's a perfect place to start for us.
All right.
You don't mind, do you?
No, that's fine. Yep. Let's go.
and he kind of hefts his big rifle and then continues to follow you guys to the main deck. The first door of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doors that lead between the lock deck and the main deck, and 2 security stops. As Ron goes over and stops, as there are 2 guards looking at this, like, standing outside of the first door that says main deck on the door, and says,
Hey, just engineers here. I'm Ron from security deck. We're just gonna check the door, make sure it works.
Howdy.
they again go,
What?
Please be stupid. Please be stupid. Please be stupid.
Stupid check.
Stupid check.
They stupid.
Stupid check!
Maybe we're just that good.
as they go,
All right. Well, I mean, sure.
and then and Ron looks at him and goes,
So, how are you guys doing? And they're like, I was pretty good. I mean, at least we didn't get put on the market deck again. Just gotta walk a lot. We just gotta stand here.
and the other one says,
Yeah, but standing, like, it takes so long, and, like, your knees start to hurt after a while.
and they're just kind of having a pleasant conversation with Ron as you guys are doing this, as it seems like the fact that Ron is with you guys is putting everybody at ease. That coupled with the fact that everybody seems to offhandedly just kind of accept that you look like engineers, even though all of your weapons do not look anything like engineer equipment.
What, you never taken a pipe and just taken a big sword to it just to get it to work? Come on.
Yeah, we're cutting through a bulkhead.
Exactly.
Wait.
Like in the plasma cutter. We need to cut through
Anyway,
the
you guys are now
Yes.
the biggest air quotes inspecting the door.
Sam's gonna kind of turn to Reagan and kind of do like a hand motion, like do a silent screaming motion at the door and go like, "What do we do?"
So okay.
Yeah, no, my wife's doing well though. I really appreciate the gift that you guys sent last week. Are you gonna be there for the security meeting? We never get anything done in those security meetings. They just talk about how things are going well.
As then one of them laughs and goes,
Yeah, things are going real well right now. Do you hear the sirens going off in literally every other part of the ship?
I'm sorry, quick out of character thing. I feel like we went the exact wrong way that we should have. I feel like the DM was like, hey, here's where we should go. Instead of going left, we went, hey, can we just go talk to Ron? Like, we just went polar opposite of where we should have.
ClockTower.
Okay.
I love
So-
Ron. I love Ron. He's my friend.
There's like things for people to scan badges or to
yeah, there's the door kind of has a scan at the top of it that will just scan those going through and make sure that they're not armed, and if they are armed they better have the right security clearance, kind of a thing.
great. Awesome.
And as Ron said previously, the
Only people that go through these doors are those that have the
I believe I said the
captain's team level of security clearance.
Okay. So Sam,
Yeah.
if we fake something happening with the electrical stuff, do you think
is this happening in a message right now?
I will say that I casted message really quick.
Again,
I was
okay.
not saying that, I was just whispering it.
All right, okay, if you guys are whispering, I just needed to make sure for me and whoever is listening to this that was not just happening in front of Ron and his two very heavily armed
Sam.
security friends.
So, what do you think
Sorry.
we should do?
So, okay. Sorry.
This is in your head.
Sure, it's in our heads.
It's a message.
It's okay,
It's
cool.
a one. I can just keep casting it.
Perfect. Thank you. So if we cast something to make it look like this door is freaking out, do you think we could get 2 security guards, if we call them, to join us inside this unit so that we can check out the other side and make sure everything's okay and get everybody else out of here?
I mean, maybe. Well, the problem is I can make things appear, like a silent thing, like a brick, but I can't make the brick explode or shoot fireworks, or that isn't something I really do. I can make it look like someone is putting their head through the door, or a plasma torch, or something, but there's no sound, no movement, no sparks. I can also probably just hit the thing with my wrench, like the scanner.
Yeah, but I think that might be it's not a great idea. It might be a little too suspicious. I mean, these people are stupid, but they're not that stupid.
I would also like to say that they're not the most stupid ever. You have some sort of outer being perception filter on you that is causing them to not notice you guys are sort of out of place, and you guys have someone who they trust literally being like, yeah, no, they're just here to check doors.
We're
Yeah.
essentially fast talking them.
You are, yeah.
And Ron made a good point in the beginning where he was like, yeah, but what happens if the doors malfunction and like something like this? And she was like, yeah, okay, it makes sense.
Ron's our
We-
bully.
So
Ron's great. We need to get Ron a present for his birthday.
we're not going to be around that long.
We're
Okay.
not.
I'm gonna cast message again. So Reagan, if you look at the guards, do you think we can, like, okay, here's my plan. If we take their thing and scan the door, right, and I cast an illusion that makes it look like someone's stepping through the door, like they were leading a charge or an assault, that might help the situation, at least get us through the door.
I think that's a good idea. Can you tell our other teammates that?
Yes, give me one moment. I'm gonna kind of look over, see if I can see whatever Rock and Jaeger are doing.
Alright. So, as I was saying before, if we were to... It seems as if everything's good here. The scan is working perfectly fine. I'm pretty sure that if we just check all the rest of the doors and make sure that all the actual lights are on as it should be, we should be fine.
Jaeger, I'll be honest, I have no idea what you just said.
Exactly. Shut up.
I'm now gonna cast
Just
message.
listen to what I'm saying and just acknowledge what I'm saying.
I cast message at
You
Jaeger's
guys are
head.
talking about things. Ron looks over to his two friends and goes, "Man, I should have been an engineer. Those guys look like they know what's going on."
I cast message into Jaeger's head as he's saying these things. Okay, so Jaeger, don't look around. Stay perfectly fine. Here's the situation. Reagan and I are going to try and open this door with one of their key cards. When that happens, it's going to look like someone's charging through the door. Can you start trying to evacuate people or at least cause a commotion towards the other door? Oh, you can reply to this, by the way.
I'll figure something out. It's not going to go well. Be ready.
Sam kind of looks over, tries to meet your eyes, and gives like a weak thumbs up.
Hey, this door is good so far. We're just trying to do a quick little background check.
Ron looks over to you guys and gives you a thumbs up.
I thumbs up back at Ron. Wink, and then look back at the door. I actually feel bad with Ron.
Okay, Jaeger, what's going on? Why did Sam give you a thumbs up?
So, and I pull him in so that it looks like I'm explaining a part of the door, part of the actual door mechanism. Yeah, so the others are going to try to work on the other door.
Okay.
They said that there's some sort of weird interference on the other side or something like that. We're just going to be here, and if anything goes wrong, we're just going to make sure that we are ready.
He's gonna look at you for a second and be really confused, but as he looks into your eyes, he's gonna go,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
All right. So, I'm going to say this, and Sam kind of leans over to Reagan. All right, so here's the thing. I'm going to make a thing and not push you back, but kind of make a large step back. When you do that, you're going to try and bump into one of the guards and steal their key card, or at least kind of swipe it off them without them knowing. Can you do that?
Sure, why not?
Wonderful. This will go great. I just know it. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Sam's gonna kind of push off of the door and into Reagan. And go, whoa! That's weird. Kind of unintentionally throw. I'm using air quotes here. Throw Reagan into the guards.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Right. Ron and all of the other security guards are going to all roll and see if they buy into...
Should I roll a deception check?
Yeah.
Or performance check?
Performance check, I think, is more accurate because you're kind of making a big show out of like, oh no, something's wrong.
Thankfully, I have a +4 in this.
Oh, thank God. How bad is it?
No, it currently it's just a 7.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try and
Okay.
spend a ClockTower dice
Okay.
to increase that a little bit.
All right, roll that d4.
Well, that's a 9.
All of them like look over and go, I didn't see it. What? And they all seem very confused because like they didn't see anything happen. You're just reacting out of nowhere to something, and they seem very suspicious of this. Except for one of them jumps a little bit at the loud noise.
Is it Ron?
No.
Oh.
When I hear them go, whoa, I look over and go, so this door's done. Let's move on to the next one.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah, let's...
And then as I turn to walk away, I just sort of like point my plasma cutter back. I'm guessing that, like, quick question. I like to think on the very edge of the gun, there's some sort of like small electrical bit that like is sort of used for the railgun bit.
Okay.
I'm just going to touch that against the wall just so I can have a... Just to try to mess with the circuits a little
You
bit.
can make an attack roll against the door. That's as far as I'm going to let you push that one.
Dang it. I don't want to go that far. Okay.
And Reagan, you were working with Sam to try and pickpocket one of the security badges off of the guards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you roll that sleight of
Yeah.
hand for me?
10.
You ever just
Even.
watch this series of
Oh, the ClockTower died to that.
No.
Okay.
Good.
Cool.
Hey, 1.
11.
11.
Unfortunately, guards' passive perception is greater than 11.
Since can I actually add? I'll add my last clock tower dice to that too, if I can.
Yeah, I don't think there's a reason that you can't stack them because it only
free
costs your reaction per round, and you haven't spent your reaction, so you can also clock tower dice it if you would like.
Okay. So we're rolling that d4. Let's hope they're.
Okay.
And I know what their DC is, so I hope you roll well.
That's a Pluto, so it's a 13 currently.
Oh, contest.
Hey.
Great. Awesome.
Hey.
In that case, Reagan, if you succeed at this chance, what would you like to happen?
Just get the badge and get on my merry way.
You managed to take the badge and they don't notice. If I win,
Yeah.
you take Ron's badge and he's betrayed.
Not Ron.
No. What is that?
17.
That's a 1.
How bad is it?
Oh, that's a 3.
Oh no.
I feel so bad.
We gonna get in trouble, guys.
All of you see this the sequence of events happen in which
What?
Sam makes a big show out of nothing happening, and then you two back up and he all but pushes Reagan backwards directly into the guards, and Reagan goes, "Oh," and grabs Ron's badge that comes off on a big attached line that goes like one of those little extender clip things, and Ron looks at you holding his badge, and you go, "Oh," and then Ron goes,
I trusted you.
So we see this happen, right?
yeah, and 1 second, because it was a 1 and then a 3.
No. I'm gonna sit down.
I'm gonna cry.
You go, "I didn't do it. There's nothing going on here." And you take a step back and your gun falls off of your side and clatters to the ground as Ron goes and aims his gun as the other 3 aim their guns at you guys. Roll initiative. So, the initiative order is Ron, Reagan, the first guard that actually belongs at this door, Sam, Jaeger, the second guard that belongs at this door, and then Rock. Of course. Ron is going to look at Reagan, and even though he's wearing a helmet, you can feel the pain in his eyes as he hefts his rifle and aims at you. Does a 35 hit your AC?
Oh my god! We weren't supposed to be here!
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I deserve it. I hurt Ron. Y'all, I'm not okay.
No, it's fine.
8 damage.
That's, yeah.
You're at 0? Okay. With Ron's second attack, he's going to turn and shoot Sam.
I go, wait.
19 to AC.
Yes.
6 damage.
I am still up.
For his third attack,
Horrible fighter.
he's going to shoot you again.
I like to imagine that I'm kind of smoking on the ground right now.
28.
Yep. Oh, you don't have to roll. That'll do it.
Okay. That will do it for Ron's turn.
Just
Action search. Ron aims at Jaeger. 18.
I can't beat that with a clock tower die. Oh yeah, that hits.
Yeah.
If I had rolled a 14, I could have rolled a 4. I got an escalation.
11 damage.
Down. Yeah.
It's gonna shoot at Rock.
TPK. Cool.
Immediately.
19.
He's gonna kill me.
10 damage.
Can I just say one piece of flavor text?
Uh-huh.
As I see him rapidly, like, in the span of 6 seconds, he goes... Right before he does his last poke, can Rock just go... just sigh heavily and then just get obliterated.
You just see Ron. So the action turns out like this. On his turn, Ron looks at you and goes,
I trusted you.
and then pulls up his rifle and goes bah 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 bah, and just annihilates all of you in a flash of light. And the last one, as he turns to Rock, and he aims down the sides. Rock goes, "Can we?"
Yep.
And gets blasted away. As suddenly there is a shift, as if you are all struck by a big wave of force. And as the shifting overtakes you, you all snap awake as if everything was just a dream. And you're on the couch in the clock tower.
Ow.
Yeah, first off, ow. Second, don't fuck with Ron.
I hurt Ron, guys.
Like, was I the only one that underestimated that man?
We were doing
No,
so well.
absolutely. I just thought he was nice and sweet, and then I messed it up, and then he messed us up. That's for
I
sure.
colored my lungs.
Hey, unlike the other times you've been in the clock tower, as all of you were talking about the betrayal of Ron, you see in the mirror the same hallway. It's still lit up.
Hey, Reagan, it's okay. We'll, it happens to all of us eventually. Do you want to... I don't know what to do next.
God, that hurts more than I thought it would. Is that what I've been doing to people?
Wait,
There, Jaeger. There.
is that the same hallway?
What? Oh.
Look in the mirror.
Oh, no.
Does that mean we gotta do it again?
Hopefully we can get another chance with Ron.
Can we stay away from him this time?
I mean,
Probably.
I mean, you guys
Let's
really...
try the other side. If it's different. If it's...
all right, let's act natural this time, though.
Yeah, we need to do a better job.
We know where we're going now.
Yeah, Jaeger,
True.
just not a dig, but just let you know from personal experience, don't just have your weapon out.
Oh, you say
That's why I'm saying
With
this
the
to you.
giant
Yes, that's why I'm
glowing
saying this to you. Just we're on the same
All right,
page.
let's
Cool.
go,
Time for
dorks.
As you go through the mirror.
Yes.
All right. As all of you step through the mirror, you see the same hallway and a familiar alarm blaring off a warning about a hostage situation happening on the main deck. As all of you stand, you seem like everything is the same as it was the first time you came here. Except for one thing. Reagan, you realize that one of your clock tower dice has already been spent.
Ah.
Wait a minute.
Good.
This does feel the same. Wait, I'm gonna look behind me. Is there someone about to brush
There is
past
someone
us?
walking your guys' direction in a hurried fashion in white clothes, as they already seem to be trying to think about how they're going to squeeze past the people standing shoulder to shoulder in the walkway. As all of you head towards the living quarters, ready to start your mission for a second time, hoping, among all of you, that this time it goes better than last time.
I'm sorry, Ron.
Ellie again. Thanks for listening. As always, I'd like to thank our producer, Who's at Who's.music, and I would also like to thank our sponsor, Alpha Lupine Images, for donating equipment to help us make more content with better quality. I'd also like to thank our great cast, Cal, Darby, Parker, and Trent, for their lovely performances this week. Thanks to everyone who helped us create sounds and FX for ClockTower, and a special thank you to Right Hand for donating a new mic to us as well. Lastly, and not at all least, I'd like to thank you, the listener. I hope you enjoyed this episode of ClockTower, and if you did, please show a friend, like and share. Help us spread it around any way you can. All of it, every time, really does help us a lot. We really appreciate it. Until next time, time's ticking. See you in the ClockTower.